California to Kansas City might sound like a downgrade, but there are some financial realities that could completely change your life. And no, we're not just talking about cheaper gas, though we will cover that too. Some of the benefits are obvious, and others will shock you completely.
That's right, Max. And today we're breaking down whether moving from California to Kansas City is actually worth it. After helping hundreds of Californian families make the move over the past few years, we've seen what separates people from those who stay and say it's the best decision they ever made to those who pack up and move home within just a couple years.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Max Jones.
I'm Zach Morton, and if you're new to the channel, we make videos about everything you need to know about living in and moving to Kansas City. We've helped thousands of families over the last 26 years, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if this is your first time here.
Now, if you are watching this video from California, you're probably spending 60 to 70% of your income on housing, sitting in traffic right now, wondering whether it's actually the best place to live.
Well, what if we told you that you could cut your housing costs by 75%, never sit in traffic again, and have access to incredible barbecue, amazing sports, and a thriving job market?
That's exactly what we're gonna break down today. In this video, we're talking about moving from California to Kansas City. We're gonna cover the good, the bad, and the ugly, and whether this move could be the best financial decision of your life or a complete disaster.
Hey, if you're new to the channel, let us know in the comments where you're coming from in California. With that being said, let's get going.
Let's dig in. All right, let's start with the elephant in the room, the housing costs. I mean, this is probably the #1 reason that we hear from Californians on why they're coming to Kansas City, right?
Yeah, that's right. So let's put this in perspective a little bit. The median house price in California is between $700,000 and $800,000. The median price point in Kansas City, you're looking between $320,000 to $350,000.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty incredible. So what that $800,000 in California might get you is like a 1,200 square foot condo. But spending $800,000 in Kansas City, you're looking at a 4,000 to 5,000 square foot home. You know, maybe a custom home, a nice sidewalk in a nice neighborhood. Some of Kansas City's best neighborhoods like Brookside, Mission Hills, or Overland Park.
Yeah, so we actually have had clients coming from California telling us that their rent or their cost of housing was eating up 60 to 70% of their income, which is insane.
Yeah.
Here in Kansas City, most people are around 25% of their income. In fact, the lenders will only allow 45% of your debt to income ratio. So 60 to 70% is out of sight. But you can get a 3,000 square foot house in a great school district like Overland Park for right around $450,000, and your mortgage payment ends up being less than what you would be paying for rent back in California for, you know, a small apartment. So it'll be less than it ends up being for a small apartment. And with that comes a yard, garage space, you're not sharing with anybody, privacy. It's a whole different animal out here.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of our clients that are coming from California, what we're seeing with them is they're actually able to sell, and they're coming to Kansas City with enough cash to buy their house outright cash and have zero mortgage payment, allowing them to put that much more towards retirement or enjoying life. So housing is obviously the big one, but that brings us to the overall cost of living, because this is where California families really start to see their money go further in ways they didn't expect.
They sure do, man. They get here and we hear about the groceries first thing. So groceries are a big one. You're seeing 15 to 20% less expensive here for groceries when you're going to the store and filling the cart. That can add up. I mean, I can't get out of the grocery store for less than $500, it seems like. So, you know, that would be $700 in California. Gas prices are 50 cents per gallon less expensive, and that is almost all tax that you're seeing in California. So, you know, filling up a tank, 30-gallon tank, that's 15 extra bucks for your tank. Property tax, well, this one is a little bit interesting because people assume that Missouri is going to be lower than California, but it's actually pretty comparable. In fact, Missouri might be even a hair more expensive on your property tax, so for those boats and cars and that sort of thing. But the difference is you're paying that property tax on a $400,000 house instead of a $1.2 million house. So the actual dollars out of pocket are less, even though the percentage might be a little bit higher.
Good point. Let's talk about some insurance, especially car insurance. That's going to be a lot cheaper here. Even some of the homeowners insurance, like we don't have earthquakes over here, so you're going to save a few bucks on your insurance premiums. But we do hear a lot of people say they're on their car insurance and their utilities, they're saving anywhere from $200 to $300 a month.
Yeah, and I know some of those fire areas, you might not even be able to get insurance in California, so.
Yeah, we've got some of the lowest electricity rates in the whole country right here in the Midwest.
Are you thinking about relocating to Kansas City? Well, we've got just the thing for you. Our team has actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. And we've linked it down below, from top employers, the best hospitals, and the highest rated schools, and a boatload of other information you're gonna wanna know before making the move. And the best part, boy, this guide is 100% free. That's right, you heard me right, 100% free. Just click the link in the description in the top pinned comment. Hope that helps.
All right, so that brings us to topic number 3, and that is income and the job market. Definitely some differences there.
All right, so we've covered how you're gonna save money on your living expenses, but the big one that everybody is really thinking about is like the job market.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna take a massive pay cut, then it doesn't do you a whole lot of good to make savings. But this is where you really need to do your homework, because salaries, yes, they are generally lower than what you'd see in California. But here's the thing, the cost of living adjustment usually more than makes up for it. So you're still seeing a savings, even if you do make a little less. And we do have a very diverse job market here. Healthcare is huge in Kansas City. We've got major systems like St. Luke's, Children's Mercy. Tech is a really growing industry with companies like Google and Meta and making big investments into Kansas City. And then you may not know the name Cerner, but they were recently acquired by Oracle. They're a huge healthcare system that is in Kansas City that tons of my friends work for them, from software engineers to people in marketing and HR. So Oracle is a big company in here in Kansas City. Really, the shift for people that are working from home, they can work anywhere in the country, so they don't have to be in the city where they're working. Tons of my friends are working from home now, and a lot of people are moving from out of state and keeping their jobs in higher paying states and just totally reducing the cost of living.
Yeah, I would say 90% of you Californians that are coming to us probably already have your employment secured, or your employer's already moving you. So you're not really taking that pay cut. You're coming out here because they need presence in the Midwest, or you're taking over a new sales territory. Your salary's gonna stay the same, and you're gonna fall into all these opportunities to save a ton of money. And that's what most of our clients are seeing.
So if you can keep that California salary and take on those Missouri expenses, you are gonna be living like a king, baby. We've helped dozens of people, tech workers and the like, even just, you mentioned a new sales territory with John, who just moved here. We helped him do precisely that, and I know they're thrilled to be here.
So moving from financial opportunities, that leads us to something California folks always ask us about, and that's the weather. And we wanna be honest with you here, this is a deal breaker for some California folks.
Yeah, if you're coming from San Diego and you're used to 72 to 80 degrees, 300 days a year, Kansas City could be a little bit of a shock to your system. We've got 4 real seasons here. Summer gets really hot and humid. I mean, we'll get over 100 degrees, maybe 102, and the humidity will take your breath away. I mean, it's like a steam sauna out there, and when people say, oh, well, it's 100, but it's a dry heat. That is true. Dry heat is less impactful, and Kansas City has anything but a dry heat. So you got that humidity.
Yep, your ACs are gonna be running in your car, in your house, everywhere. So that brings us into, we have a really nice fall, we have a really nice spring, but our winters can be brutal too. It gets super cold. It's usually just a 3-week spell though, of where it's like blistering cold, where we see temperatures 0 at night. We might get wind chills or something down to -20 through the night, but that only lasts for a few weeks, and then we get back into kind of moderate temperatures where it freezes at night. Maybe it's 40 degrees during the day.
Yeah, so winter is not fun. That dog days of summer is not the best, but really the flip side of that is that you get to experience all 4 seasons, and that's something that Californians don't have, and I don't think you can appreciate it until you actually experience it. It's really awesome. It's charming to where, you're coming out of summer and it gives you something to look forward to. The seasons start to shift and you get nostalgic about the new holiday coming up. Christmas wouldn't be the same if it wasn't a little chilly outside. I don't know how Santa can get his sleigh going without a little bit of snow on the ground. So it's actually really gorgeous, especially the fall and the spring. Everything's relative. So
right.
I don't think you can appreciate how nice something is unless you are coming from something that wasn't quite as nice just a few weeks ago. So I don't know, we see everybody's mood shift up and down with the changes of the weather, and I've learned to love it.
Yeah, no, I totally do. It's like, you know, when the kids are doing their little Thanksgiving artwork and you've got the golden oak leaves and they're making turkeys out of it. I mean, in California, where maybe you just have a bunch of pine trees and you don't get to see the leaves all turning colors and the oak trees. And I mean, it is really beautiful. You got a crispness to the air because the humidity drops out. Maybe you can see your breath in the morning. It just feels really fresh. I mean, kind of like being in the mountains, man. It's really nice time of year.
Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere and everything changes all around you. So there is definitely a charm to that you have to experience to really appreciate.
And that's actually one of the things. I had a client that actually came from Hawaii, and they said one of the things that they thought was the coolest, being in that climate. Maybe California has similar environment. You just don't have those changes, and just being able to enjoy the change, always have something to look forward to. They just really enjoyed that. That was one of their top 4 things, believe it or not, or top 1 thing was the 4 seasons that we have here in Kansas City. All right, so moving on from weather reality, that actually leads us perfectly into the cultural shift, because this is where it gets interesting. Kansas City has its own vibe, and it's pretty different from California. And I will say it's not just Kansas City as a whole has its own vibe. There's lots of different pockets around Kansas City where you're gonna get a different vibe. So I really think there's something here for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, Kansas City, the pace of life is a lot slower. So people aren't constantly in a rush, running into each other and cruising past each other. It's actually pretty chill and slow pace where, you're walking down the sidewalk, people will say hi instead of just cruising right by one another. You'll have conversations with strangers at the grocery store, not really in-depth conversations, but you'll shoot the a little bit with people in public spaces when you bump into one another. It's kind of like, you hear about it, like the whole Midwest charm. It's a real thing. And traffic does exist. We can bump into a little rush hour traffic going into some of the burbs like Grandview or coming into Liberty. Can be a little bit of traffic-y during the rush hour times, but nothing like the Bay Area or LA. Your commute times are gonna drop dramatically. You can be anywhere in Kansas City within 20, 30 minutes.
All right, so the food scene, this might surprise you too. Kansas City restaurant scene is really incredible. We're famous for barbecue, right? But we've got James Beard Award winners here. We've got a lot of farm to table restaurants, which I really enjoy. There's some amazing food truck options all around the city. The dining scene here punches way above its weight class.
It sure does. I mean, I'm proofing the puddings right here. A lot of that is bought and paid for from Kansas City's finest. But entertainment-wise, I mean, we've got quite a bit of entertainment options. Professional sports, we talk about it all the time. I'm a huge Chiefs fan. We also have a professional baseball team in the Royals, professional soccer team called Sporting Kansas City.
And the girls' soccer team.
Oh yeah, the Current. Yeah, so lots of sports going on. Thriving art scene. We have a whole arts district in what's called the Crossroads downtown. We have the jazz history area, a whole district of downtown dedicated to its jazz history. The Nelson Atkins Museum of Art is phenomenal, world class, it's free to go in. So lots of entertainment options.
Yeah, lots of theater stuff too, and dinner theaters and performing arts, so yeah. Lots going on.
Yeah, and then just to add to that a little bit, what I think is great about Kansas City is recreation. We have known for lakes, so there are phenomenal lakes all around Kansas City. The Lake of the Ozarks is the most notable, but you don't have to go too far to get to Smithville Lake or go out by Lawrence's Lake Perry. There are tons of neighborhoods that have lakes, biking trails, walking trails, hiking. It's a great place to go camping, lots of campsites and stuff. So if you like more of a recreational type of entertainment, then Kansas City's prime.
Yeah, and I'll even say, I don't know the hunting scene in California, but there's lots of land to hunt on around Kansas City. Like you're only 45 minutes from a suburb out into the boonies, so you can get to hunting ground, and there's lots of conservation area around too to hunt, fish, and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, hunting and fishing, my kids love it. In fact, deer season's coming up.
That's right, man, just around the corner.
Yeah.
But here's something people moving from California notice, and that's everything in Kansas City is going to close a little bit earlier. The nightlife scene does exist, but it's not like LA or San Francisco. I mean, a lot of places are going to shut down by 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to be going out having dinner at 2 a.m. or getting dinner reservations at 2 a.m. There is, every once in a while, you'll find a bar that closes down at 3 o'clock. I don't stay up that late anymore, but for the most part, after that, the town shuts down.
Yeah, it'll be crickets after 2 a.m., but get your butt home in bed anyway, because nothing good happens after 2 a.m. anyway. So
I always say nothing good ever happens after midnight.
Yeah,
I gotta get my beauty rest.
That's the rule for my kids. Get home.
Yep.
Stay out of trouble.
Hey guys, it's Zach and Max here with the Mojo Real Estate team, and we love making these videos, but there's one thing that we love even more, and that's helping people and families from all over the world move to Kansas City. We've helped thousands of families over the last 26 years in business, but you don't have to take our word for it. You can see what our clients have to say with over 750 5-star Google reviews from folks just like you. So whether you're moving next week, next month, or even next year, you can reach out to us anytime. Our contact information is on the screen, and we've also got it pinned in the description below. And we look forward to chatting with you about your move to Kansas City.
Topic number 6, this is an important one for people with families, is that education and family life. Big differences from Kansas City, California.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about general lifestyle differences, but that brings us to something crucial if you're moving here with kids. And let's talk about schools, because that is a major decision.
All right, so Kansas City has some phenomenal school districts. Blue Valley School District is actually the #1 school district in the entire state of Kansas. It consistently ranks in the top of the nation. We've got some other schools. We've got like Shawnee Mission, Park Hill, North Kansas City are all highly rated. I will piggyback on that with, there's also a lot of private school options at every grade level. I know we ended up putting our kids in private school early on, I think up through 6th grade. They started public school in 7th, but had a great experience there. So there's great schools all across the metro.
Yeah, there sure are. I mean, public school system is phenomenal. You don't need to send your kids to private school and take on the additional expense because, you know, Liberty or Park Hill or Blue Valley or North Kansas City, Shawnee Mission, all excellent schools. Blue Springs, Lee Summit, Platte City. I mean, you can name them all, and they're all terrific. So there are a few pockets on the interior of Kansas City that you might not want to go to public schools, but we can help you sort through that. And if you reach out to us, sort through the particulars.
With the school options, so you've got public school. If that's not right for your area, you've got the private school options, you've got charter school, you've got a lot of options. What we find most people say is the price for the private school or charter school rivals that of daycare in California. In fact, I had a client that just moved from Florida, and what they were paying for daycare down there was the same price I'm sending my kid to college.
Holy mackerel. And
so I can only
MU.
imagine. Yeah, in MU. So I can only imagine what you guys pay out in California for stuff like that. But then that brings us to college costs too. So we do have 2 pretty big colleges here. We've got MU, which is just a couple hours away, University of Missouri, and then the University of Kansas, or KU. Actually, they just had their first rival football game a couple weeks ago after 7 years.
Yeah, they MU went to the SEC, left the Big 12, and ever since then they haven't played, I think, for 12 or 13 years. Okay. I actually went to that game. It was fun. I got to bump into your daughter down there, and it was a heck of a game.
Yeah, my daughter just started down there this year as a freshman, so yeah, going good. But then KU's just 45 minutes away, so we got some pretty big schools, and depending on if you're in Kansas or Missouri, you can get that in-state tuition, which is kind of nice. There's also several community colleges all throughout Kansas City, so it can help you if you want to save a few bucks, maybe get that associate's before you go to the state school. So a lot of options around education in Kansas City.
Yeah, several D2 options too. I went to Northwest Missouri State in Maryville, which is just an hour up north. There's several Division II colleges. Also, the University of Arkansas is just not too far away. That's a great place. I love to go. If I'm not going to the Ozarks, going down to Bentonville, Fayetteville area, I think that's like a 2.5 hour drive from Kansas City. Phenomenal place to go and really kick butt school down there. And if you get good grades, I think over a 3.5, they will give you in-state tuition if you want to go to the University of Arkansas. So
yeah, you kind of eyeballing that for your kid, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I would really like it if he went there, if he goes to college.
Yeah, Bentonville's one of my favorite places to go. They're like the mountain bike capital of the world right now with Walmart and all the trail systems. So if you're into mountain biking, living in Kansas City puts you real close to a great weekend.
Yeah, Beaver Lake is killer down there too. It rivals Table Rock. In fact, I think it's all part of the same lake system down there.
Beaver's just the clearest. It's freaking beautiful. It's like being on the ocean.
Yeah, the striper bass in there are huge. So definitely recommend Beaver if you're into fishing.
Or swimming, or jumping off cliffs.
Yeah, cliff jumping is killer too. All right, so that takes us to topic number 7, and that is transportation and infrastructure, which is a big deal. Yeah, so building on education, that brings us to something that's going to impact your daily life in a big way, and that's about getting around the city, and transportation is going to affect your lifestyle majorly, so will be a change for you.
That's right, yeah. Kansas City is definitely a car city. You're gonna have a car here. If you're a family, you're probably gonna at least have 2 cars, one for each parent, so you can run those kids everywhere they need to go. You're gonna be paying gas, which gas is a lot cheaper here, and you're also not gonna be sitting in rush hour traffic. I mean, you might for 20 minutes on a commute that, like with no traffic, might take you 10 during rush hour, but for the most part, people in California just laugh at Kansas City's traffic, and especially how easy it is to get from one side of a town to the other. It is a vast distance, so they're like, oh, that's gonna take me an hour, and then they put it into Google Maps and it's like 30 minutes, so they're surprised every time on how quick they get across the city.
Yep, and parking is free when you get there. So you don't, I mean, unless you're going down to a concert down in the middle of downtown, you might have to pay to park, but otherwise parking's free everywhere you go. Gas is cheaper, insurance costs less, so it's pretty phenomenal. We do have public transit, technically. There's a streetcar downtown. It's free. We are expanding upon it, so we're excited about that. They're adding a bunch of new stops. But coming from California, you might be used to a little bit of public transportation, you know, hopping on the subway and that sort of thing. I don't know if it's an L train. I've lived in Brooklyn for a while, so it was a subway. But if you're used to that, then you're gonna have to get used to not having it, because Kansas City, our public transportation is Uber, essentially. You know, call an Uber, take it to the airport, and that's the way to go.
That's the way to go. But I mean, it's nice just hopping in. I mean, I was in Oregon. We had a train that went downtown too. But it's just nice to hop in your own car, not have to fight traffic, not sit in other people's funk, and just get what you need done instantly and not waste any time.
You're not gonna miss it. All right, so that brings us to topic number 8, and I think it's the biggest one, and that is taxes. I did a little research on Grok today, pulled up the differences between California and Missouri. So the state income tax rate is pretty substantial. Missouri has essentially a flat tax. There is a gradient if you make less than $9,000 a year, but who does that? And it only goes up to 4.7% for your state income tax, whereas California has this whole graduated system. The more you make, the more you pay. But just to give you an example, if you make between $70,000 and $360,000 a year, you're paying 9.3, so double. If you're making more than $360,000 up to $432,000, it jumps up to 10.3. If you're making $432,000 to $721,000, it's 11.3. And for those of you people, fortunate few, that are making more than $721,000 a year, there's a 1% surcharge for a mental health surcharge that's on top. So I got to take care of those mentals, which puts you at a 14.63% state income tax compared to 4.7% here in Missouri. So that is just huge. Sales tax is another one that can be different, but ultimately I think it shakes out to roughly the same. The California state sales tax is 7.25, while Missouri is only 4.2, but once you add in the locals and the cities, they usually average out about the same in that mid 8% range. Property tax, we already mentioned this, but Missouri is just a hair higher. California's 0.7% and Missouri's about 0.9%. But that's also, like we said, is paid on a much smaller, the property values are less, so the dollars out are less too. Corporate tax is a big deal. You know, if you are a corporation or own one and want to move it to Missouri, it's 4% corporate tax, and California is 8.84%. The overall tax burden, though, when you add them all up, looks like Missouri is right around 8% and California is around 11%. So about a 3% overall difference in taxes. Other notable taxes, you've got the gas, we mentioned that. Cigarette tax, I mean, I definitely don't advocate smoking cigarettes, but you're looking at $2.87 a pack tax in California and 17 cents here in Missouri. So
crazy.
Smoke them if you got them, I guess. Inheritance tax, neither state has any inheritance tax. And then, you know, Kansas City and Missouri in general, we are right on the border of Kansas and Missouri, so there's a lot of border wars with tax incentives to attract those businesses to one state or the other. So there are tons of business incentives that Missouri offers to to get you to do business here.
Yeah, good point. So if you do own a business and you're coming here, you can definitely go to those different counties or those different suburbs and search for what kind of incentives they're offering, because they may give you tax breaks for several years to get you to set up shop in their neck of the woods. All right, let's be real about who this move works for and who struggles with it.
All right, so this move is perfect for you if you're tired of spending 60 to 70% of your income on housing. If you want a bigger house, a bigger yard, you know, put a dog in there if you want. The ability to actually save money and get ahead in life is a big deal if you're looking forward to that. If you're starting a family, have young kids, you want to go to schools without, you know, having the cost of private schools, then I think Kansas City could be a good place for you.
Yeah, and if you work remote, work from home, then Kansas City could be a gold mine. That's what we see a lot of people coming here right now. And also a lot of the Californians are saying, hey, we're just tired of the politics, and that's the reason they're coming to Kansas City.
Yep, entrepreneurs, business owners, it costs a fraction to start your business up in Kansas City versus California, and a lot of the regulations and that sort of thing. Kansas City is kind of a live and let live kind of place.
And there has been kind of a theme where there's a lot of people now that are trying to stack as much cash as they can so they don't have to work forever, so they can see retirement early and go and enjoy life. And you can stack a lot more cash in Kansas City than you can in California, where you're spending all your money just to make it day to day.
Yes, sir.
So
if you value community, a slower pace of life, 4 seasons, and some barbecue, woo, then Kansas City could be perfect for you.
All right, so on the flip side, let's be honest, who might not love this move?
Yeah, if you are deeply tied to California's outdoor lifestyle and you like to go to the Redwood Forest every weekend, then you know, it could be a problem. If you like surfing, year-round hiking, desert activities, we don't have any deserts, no mountains, they're just not here. If you need the energy of a massive metropolitan area, if you really, you know, feed off that energy, Kansas City might kind of feel a little small for you. We're just pushing 2.5 million people in the metro, so a little more spread out, not quite as many people.
If you have a very specialized career and maybe that only exists in coastal cities, you're definitely going to struggle to find the equivalent here in Kansas City.
Yeah, if you're a fisherman in the ocean,
Yeah.
that's a pretty specialized industry that would not do well here.
Yeah.
And culturally, you know, if you are used to the diversity of California, you know, you like ethnic food on every corner, you want to order chicken pad thai and have it delivered to your house at 2 a.m., you know, speak multiple languages, really love that Cosmo vibe. Kansas City is a little more homogenous. We're working on it, but it's just a different demographic and overall makeup.
All right, now for that question of the day. For those of you thinking about moving to Kansas City, where are you going to be moving from, and what's the main reason you're leaving your current city or state? We are truly curious, so make sure to let us know down below. Also, if you have any questions or thoughts, you can leave those in the comments down below, or even better, text, call, or email us. Our information is on the pop-up on the screen.
All right, with all those challenges in mind, let's run some real numbers, because that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, so say if you're selling a $900,000 house in California, you know, a little shack out there, after paying off your mortgage, you walk away with $400,000 in equity. You can come here, buy a $450,000 house, put $100,000 down, and you still have $300,000 left over.
Yeah! And then you take that down to the casino.
Double it.
Your mortgage payment drops from $4,500 a month to $2,200 a month, so that's $2,300 back into your pocket. $27,600 a year, and over 10 years, that's $276,000 that you're not spending on a house.
Yeah, and then add in the lower cost of living, which is 11% below the national average, plus $300,000 that you have left over. Maybe you invest that into some, you know, dividend-paying stocks, and you're getting ahead of the game. So some of our California families are able to semi-retire and start businesses just from the savings.
So with those numbers in mind, is it worth it? Here's our honest take on that.
Yeah, if you spend more than 40% of your income on housing in California and you're tired of the hustle and culture, if you want to actually enjoy your money instead of just surviving, Kansas City could change your life.
But if you're making $300K plus in California, you love the ocean, you love that big city energy, and California challenges don't outweigh its benefits for you, maybe just stay put.
Yeah, pay that 35 grand a year in state income taxes.
For another 15 years.
Yeah, just stay there. And based on the factors that we just discussed, over the past few years, we've helped hundreds of California families make the move, and the happiest ones are the ones that came with realistic expectations and an open mind.
Most of them tell us things like they wish they would have done it sooner. Their stress level drops and their savings account grows. Their kids are thriving in great schools, making a lot of friends, and they're actually enjoying life instead of just grinding through it.
But we've also helped a couple of people move back, and usually it's because they underestimated how much they'd miss family, the ocean, or the cultural aspects of life, and they get a little bit homesick.
Yeah, family's big, so that can pull both directions. So with all of our experience of helping California families move, if you're seriously considering this move, here's what we recommend.
Yeah, first of all, visit during the different seasons. Come in July when it's hot and humid, then circle back and come in January when it's cold. Take a little taste test of that, that weather there. Come in the spring for sure and hear those tornado sirens go off. Make sure you can handle the weather.
Second, run your numbers and do it honestly. Factor in salary changes and the cost of living differences, and remember to account for your moving expenses.
Third, research those neighborhoods carefully, and that's where we come in big time to help you. We've got videos in all the major areas, but every neighborhood has its own little personality, and what works for a young pro might not work for a family with kids. So lean on us for that aspect. We can help you do FaceTime tours of the areas. We can really give you a lot of guidance there.
Now with all those practical steps in mind, here's our bottom line. Moving from California to Kansas City, it's not for everyone, but for the right person, it can be life-changing. We've seen families go from barely scraping by in California, and they land in Kansas City, and all of a sudden they're thriving.
Yeah, the housing costs alone can make it worth the move, at least considering for a lot of people. Add in the quality of life, the schools, the community feel, the ability to actually save money, and it's pretty compelling.
We've helped thousands of families move to Kansas City over the years, and we'd love to help you figure out the move and what makes sense for your situation. We've got over 750 5-star reviews on Google from folks just like you who have made this transition.
Yeah, so if you're thinking about doing it, then reach out to us. All of our contact information is in the description below. We can connect you with folks who have actually made the move, show you around different neighborhoods, and help you run through the numbers and see if it makes financial sense.
Hey, and if you have found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments below where in California you're coming from and what questions you have about Kansas City.
All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.